Yo, what is going on, y'all? I'm Cavell Anderson, and we are back with another Veve and Ecomi video. This is going to be the final one. I thought the last one was going to be the final one, but this is actually going to be the final video. We are going to be touching on, it looks like the Veveverse, Alfred Kahn's opinion of the Veveverse. So let's jump straight into it, man. Be sure to drop that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's get it.
So just, we've alluded to it a fair bit, Dan, and maybe Al, you have some input on this. Obviously, the next iteration of our platform will dive into the Veveverse and this idea of the Metaverse. So I'm curious for both of you, but Al, do you see the Metaverse style experience as the next evolution of this digital adoption curve? Is that the future of this kind of industry now?
Well, I'm not certainly a technologist. I'm not a marketer, and so I have to leave that one to Dan.
Okay.
But what I see though is, again, the evolution of what people really want and were never able to get. That to me is really a important aspect. You know, it's one thing to be in an augmented reality state where you can just experience something that you would normally not experience. What about the actual ownership of something that in a million years you would never be able to get? And I wish I can give you examples, which I could, but I'm not. You know, things that they could be that. But
Basically, he was just trying to confirm Pokemon. And I was just playing. Actually, that sounds more something along the lines of like something really rare, like a rare painting or something. And yeah, I feel like he was more so hinting at something like that, which he obviously couldn't say since this type of stuff hasn't been revealed yet. So,
but Dan and I've had this conversation a lot about categories, about things of that ilk. So I think the idea that you know creating demand for something and then limiting it dramatically, you might have a very different set of parameters. I think the other thing that we haven't really seen yet is that the storytelling, about these collectibles, where they come from, or what was the background of it, etc. I think we're going to see that too as well. So I can't, I'm very excited. I think the boys have done an incredible job. I wish they'd get a little more sleep. That would be helpful. But I think look, we can't let our guard down. We have to realize that every day, you know, how many hundreds of companies are coming into this field, obviously.
so basically, he's got an old school mindset. He's sticking to the fundamentals, sticking to his strengths and what he knows, and I like that. Like he's trying to innovate the things that he knows and understands, and you can tell that. And like that's that wisdom. That's that wisdom. You don't speak on what you don't really know. Like so, obviously, he doesn't really understand the VV and how that metaverse could be impactful. Probably hasn't really played Fortnite, even though I'm sure he knows what it is. Like kind of deep diving, understanding and things like that. You have to know a Fortnite success, but to really understand why it's successful, that's a completely different beast. So yeah, like it is interesting the fact that talking about touching on the story and things like that. So are they going to like be having some type of animated video series where it tells the story of the collectibles or something like that? Or is he talking about how some of the VV YouTubers are creating whole storylines and things and acting them out, doing like the role play? Like, is that what he's envisioning? I kind of want to know more about his thoughts on that.
But I think we have something we can protect and grow.
Dan, anything to add to that?
I mean, no, I mean, Al summed it up very well, but I think just in terms of the metaverse side of things, really for me, I just see that as a natural evolution. Like, as I just mentioned, we really are on the precipice of moving into these, much bigger digital worlds. I mean, people play games, 10 hours a day, purely existing in these digital realms. And I think we're about to see a shift from, moving from, gaming metaverses to social metaverses. And for us, like we've obviously got our showroom V1, showroom V2's coming out, and it's just really a natural extension on the technology we have now, where we're going to go.
So what's interesting about that is I can kind of see that. Like, so he's thinking of it as it's going to be more than gaming. While it's going to be like at some point, I think they're planning to have a great gaming experience like Ready Player One. It's going to be so much more to the world than that. And honestly, the world is probably going to start out more so less gaming and more so experience and attractions and things like that, and more gaming aspects are going to be added in over time to like really have some crazy experiences. Like, yeah, I feel like that's going to come over time. So I feel like that this is going to be crazy. Like, I feel like this can be crazy, for sure.
Yeah, it's I actually see that firsthand. You know, I have a little brother who's 12. I'm sitting in his chair at the moment, and I'm sure from the moment he wakes up, he's going to be on this computer playing games, you know, until the sun goes down. So that for me was a real aha moment, you know, when I actually got to see firsthand that the younger generations are just digitally native. That, you know, owning in-game items is very common to them. You know, they already attach so much value to those digital assets. So seeing that transition into ownable digital assets and then beyond is, well, it's really not a leap anymore. Whereas, you know, maybe 10 years ago, that just wasn't part of the narrative, which is really important. And Al, you touched on, you know, the storytelling there, which, you know, is fundamental to the human experience, I think, because it helps us to attach meaning to these assets or the things that we're doing. Is there anything in particular about Veve in its current iteration that you think is really helping to bridge that gap between the product and the fan or the collector? Is it, you know, we obviously have the drop days and things like that. Like, is there something built in there or a connection that is really helping fans to find and enjoy the product?
Well, I think obviously when they do a drop, they give a fairly, significant understanding of why the drop, where it came from, what was the background of that drop. But I think ultimately there could be a lot more stories that are told that have a lot more nuance to them, especially, and then that makes the individual collectible that much more interesting because of the story. So I think to Dan's point, not only will the technology grow, but the experience of being in the story. And then, because you imagine owning a piece of the story,
Yeah.
you own it. And I think the game playing world allows the kids to own that. But we've always, I've been in the game business my whole life. So we've always talked about how does Veve fit into the gaming environment, but I think there's a lot of ways that it does, and that those are ways that, they're going to try and figure out how to do it with. But give me a big story, a big experience. I mean, then it's like, no, that can be convey it. Like you walk into a ride at Disney World, right? You walk into one of their major rides. When you go off the ride, what do you walk into? A gift shop, right? Well, this is the idea. We have a experience, and then all of a sudden, you don't walk into a gift shop. You walk into a showroom. You walk into a drop, and that experience you can take with you. I think that's the secret sauce down the road to some extent.
Interesting. Yeah, it's even from a merchandising point of view, I guess, to throw back to one of your earlier brands with Pokemon, you would see the show and fall in love with the characters, and then you could collect the cards or a part of the merchandise and take that with you. So, as we've alluded to, we're really just transitioning that onto a new digital medium, which opens us up to a lot. So it's going to be interesting to watch that progress, for sure. Now, Dan, I know we can't give everything away here, but what are we looking at in terms of our current user base? What are our projections or our goals there? And obviously the licensing or the brands coming on board will help us to expand that reach, but are there any particular growth strategies we have in place or that we'll be looking at?
Yeah, I mean, to date, we've had, over 350,000 downloads of the app, which is, very, very promising considering we're only 5 or 6 months into the launch. And obviously from our perspective, we want to get Veve into the hands of as many users as we can possible. I mean, it is funny, I actually remember standing around the kitchen at Al's place, and we were talking about, how many users should we aim for in year one? And then we'd all talk about it, and we're thinking, okay, I think year one, in the first 12 months, we should be able to get 60,000 users. And then, you know, by the end of year 2, you know, maybe we can get, you know, 200,000 users. So, I mean, good thing is that all of those numbers have been completely blown out of the water. I think we're literally operating off our year 3 numbers at the moment. But yeah, I mean, with the uptake, obviously you never really know what's going to happen in the future. But I think the other thing to remember is that Veve really hasn't started anything in terms of its marketing. Outside of our absolutely amazing community who literally, yeah, you know, do so much work for us. So, you know, you can anticipate in the future that we will, you know, as we start bringing out these bigger drops like Marvel, you know, there's going to be much bigger marketing campaigns around that. There's going to be longer lead times where, you know, a few weeks out, you're going to start seeing ads or sneak peeks. And the whole idea is really just to, you know, build up that audience and get the product in front of more potential users before it drops. So, you know, I mean, I'm always a bit nervous about quoting numbers because, you know, they'll end up everywhere across the internet, and then we'll get blamed if they don't come to fruition. But yeah, I think, you know, based on the current growth to date, you know, we can expect that to continue going.
I'll tell you a story because I like to always be conservative, and then you surprise by being better. I remember the kitchen table arguments about how many we're going to have. And now David and Dan, don't let me forget that I was the low guy. I was the low guy on that totem pole in terms of, you know, I don't think that's way too many, you know, for the first, you know, period of time. Of course, now they've blown those numbers away. So I'm delighted, you know, and certainly that's more suggestive as a question you asked previously, or how do you know this is going to work?
Yeah. It's very indicative of the future of the platform, hopefully. And, you know, nothing wrong with being conservative. I think that's a very safe play to make. So that's a good move. Now, we might just wrap it up with this last one, and I'll throw this to both of you. Now, Al, maybe we'll start with you. Obviously, you've had an incredible career in licensing and branding and things like that. And you're still very much involved. What advice do you have for anyone who's starting out, maybe in a new industry? They don't know what they want to do or how to achieve it. I mean, is there any sort of directive that you can give people that has helped you to expand your career?
I think the most important thing you can do is read everything you can get your hands on. Because I have found that some of the best ideas or the best thoughts I've ever experienced were little articles in the Wall Street Journal or the Times or in all these newspapers or magazines where there's a little blurb of a story. And all of a sudden, what is that? You know, and because ultimately everything starts small. Everything starts small. So the more that you can acclimate yourself to that, the better off you are. And I think the second thing is, if you decide to do something, you better understand the market you're going into, understand who the competition is, understand what's been done in that market, because so many people will start a new business and have no clue who the competition is, no clue how well they've done or not done. So I think it's reading and homework, you know, that really is important in trying to ascertain what you should do.
Sound advice, very sound advice. And Dan, I know that over the years that I've known you, you know, we joke about your business game leveling up in the last few years. Any advice to people who are starting out or looking to pursue a passion business as it would be?
Yeah, I mean, I think just to second what Al said, that, you know, really at the end of the day, a business is about offering something to someone else, whether it's a product or a service. So it is very important to, I think, two main things. You know, number one, understand where you can fit in that landscape if one exists already, and, you know, making sure that it is actually something that people want. I mean, you know, I've started businesses where I was like, people are definitely going to buy that, and then they didn't buy it. So, you know, I'd made some wrong assumptions. I think secondly, you know, when it comes to business, it really is all about tenacity. You know, you just have to keep going. You know, there's always that song that has always been a bit of an anthem to me, which is that one, you know, I get knocked down, I get up again, because it literally, that is what it is like, you know, if you want to succeed very well. And I think lastly, you know, one of the important things is really just, you know, the people around you and the people you choose to be involved with. You know, I mean, you know, that's a very, very important question. You need to make sure that the people who you do bring on board are bringing value, and they are contributing, and you know, you all get along. And that's, yeah, I think that's really very much a part of the secret sauce.
That's a shout out to Al Kahn and shots fired. Nah, let me stop.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Well, thank you to both of you and to David. Also, my thanks to him later for being here. Everybody will really appreciate it. Any final words? Any cliffhangers you want to leave anyone with?
No.
Get on the app earlier because you're going to get sold out much quicker than you think. So you better get on that app. Get on that, get your finger on the button, especially this coming Thursday.
Absolutely.
People train exercises, yeah.
That's it. Thanks, gents. We really appreciate it. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye now.
Thanks, Bruce.
All right, y'all. So there we have it. That was an amazing interview. Shout out to Reese for conducting a great interview as always. Shout out to Al Kahn for coming through, dropping them gems on us. Definitely enjoyed that. That was pretty much it, y'all. Let me know what you all think about this interview down below in the comments section. As always, drop that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you are new. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. Peace out, y'all.